Hello and welcome to the only gaming show brave enough to cover Elden Ring inside games.
Everyone else looked at those search trends and said, no thank you, we don't want that traffic. We'll bravely cover all the indie games, but here we're triple bravely. Oh wait, no, everyone's doing that. Yeah, that makes sense.
You expect people to not take a slam dunk like that? You cover the shadowy next game for the developers of Dark Souls?
Yeah, when you put it like that. Let's talk about it. Elden Ring.
We are not the only ones with the predictable move today because we got our first look at Elden Ring, the arguably new IP for the developers of Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and Sekiro.
Yeah, the predictable part might be a bit harsh, but it's actually kind of hard to look at footage from FromSoft's new game and not think it's just Dark Souls with a horse now.
Oof, it really is. I was watching the reveal and I was like, Dark Souls 4? It seems a little weird that the game looks so Dark Souls. It looks so Dark Souls.
Yeah, and it's not called Dark Souls 4, but I guess when you get down to it, what would make Dark Souls better than it already is?
A horse.
Dark Souls plus horse, Elden Ring, perfect game.
They did it again. They did it again, Lawrence.
Elden Ring, everybody, just drink it in.
From Software finally released Elden Ring from its chains this week, revealing the first trailer since its announcement at the 2019 Xbox conference.
It's been shrouded in mystery for a while. That 2019 trailer didn't reveal a whole lot about the game. Aside from it being a brand new IP born from a collaboration between prolific video game director Hidetaka Miyazaki and Game of Thrones author George R.R. Martin.
On paper, the combo is a match made in heaven. Miyazaki, director of dark fantasy series Dark Souls, plus George R.R. Martin, author of dark fantasy novel series Song of Ice and Fire, otherwise known as one of the most popular television shows of all time, Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and because of that, obviously hopes were high. And then the Game of Thrones finale happened.
Not much hope endured after that, did it? I mean, he hasn't even finished the 6th book yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. We're still waiting for the actual books to finish, but before that, we got a new trailer for Elden Ring at the end of the Summer Games Fest kickoff this past Thursday.
Yeah, the trailer revealed a lot during its 3-minute runtime, including a wide variety of different creatures, an open landscape with a big-ass golden tree, a monster with a bell for a dong, and the horse can double jump.
This is coming from the guy who made the Dark Souls series, and that's that gets pretty out there. I mean, this is the series that had you teleport via Dragon Vor after all.
The trailer finished with the grandest prize of all, a release date. Elden Ring will release on January 21st next year for Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PC.
Huzzah! The internet rejoiced! We're free! Only mere months until we can play another Souls Elden Ring.
Indeed, the internet rejoiced. It seems there's some hemming and hawing about the graphics not being next-gen enough, which I thought. But it seems most people are just really excited that another game in the Dark Souls style is on the way and has a definite release date that will never get delayed. Right, Lawrence? Never delayed. Never delayed.
Yeah, but as far as we know, that's where the story ends. Everyone's happy. There's a hooded lady who's whispering to you who may level you up or not. And, it's great. I'm sorry to say, this is a gaming news show and we got to hit our runtime. So we got to find something to drill into here.
All right. Drill this on for size. Why isn't this game called Dark Souls 4?
Yeah, that was something that kind of stuck on me. Basically, in the North American market, at least, publishers, they love those franchises. You got to have a known brand plus a number that gets bigger on the end, and that there's just a lot of marketing cachet and brand power behind what they've built with Dark Souls. So it's interesting to me that another game would walk away from that, even when it seems so similar. Why not just call it Dark Souls 4 and inherit all of the benefit and marketing potential from that franchise?
Absolutely. For commentary on that question, we turn to From Software president Hidetaka Miyazaki, who has commented on franchises and brands in a few interviews.
Yeah, when being asked about the potential of a Dark Souls 4 or a Bloodborne 2, which fans have desperately wanted since the game's release in 2015, Miyazaki was reluctant on the idea of either title.
In a 2015 interview with GameSpot, Miyazaki spoke on both Dark Souls and Bloodborne, saying, quote, "I'm considering Dark Souls 3 to be the big closure on the series. And that, quote, I just believe that moving on is necessary in order for players to continue enjoying our games."
Miyazaki extended that sentiment, saying, quote, "I don't think it'd be the right choice to continue indefinitely creating Souls and Bloodborne games. I believe that From Software has to create new things. We have to keep creating quality games and be aggressive about doing new things."
Since that interview, From Software released Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, and announced Elden Ring. So it seems his strategy's been consistent.
And if you feel like reading even more into it, which we will, it's a gaming show after all, Miyazaki also described Dark Souls 3 as, quote, the last game where the development project began before I became president. So, moving away from that branding and franchise may be symbolic to him as a leader and creator.
And yet, Elden Ring is expected to be a Souls-like experience, except with a much more open world than the tighter level design that Miyazaki's previous game showcased. Perhaps this is the gameplay element that will make this game not feel like Dark Souls 4 with another name.
Yeah, I hope so too. There's no knowing until we play it. And given From Software's legacy, it seems like Elden Ring is kind of the culmination of all the games From Software has made since Demon's Souls, just kind of all intersecting and packed in there.
To me, it looked like there was more story than Dark Souls, because Dark Souls has a pretty ethereal, vague story, you know? And I was excited that Elden Ring seemed a little more focused in terms of storytelling. I think that would help me get into the game as well. So to offer more context, we turn to another interview Miyazaki did with IGN in 2019.
In that interview, Miyazaki stated that, quote, Elden Ring is a third-person action RPG with a fantasy setting. The gameplay is not so far from Dark Souls. That doesn't mean that the gameplay will be identical, but you could say Elden Ring belongs to the same genre.
So Miyazaki himself isn't promising that Elden Ring will be radically different.
As an aside, and this is kind of interesting, this interview also revealed the scope of George R.R. Martin's contribution to the game. Apparently, Martin wrote all the backstory and lore for the game's setting, while Miyazaki and From Software worked on the story that takes place during the events of the game.
Miyazaki explained, quote, storytelling in video games, at least the way we do it From Software, comes with a lot of restrictions for the writer. I didn't think it was a good idea to have Martin write within those restrictions. By having him write about a time the player isn't directly involved in, he's free to unleash his creativity in the way he likes.
If only he could unleash that creativity on Winds of Winter. Ooh, God, we're gonna be skeletons waiting for this.
At this point, we've stuck on the game's name for a bit, but it's important to note that even FromSoft has a legacy of making adjacent but new kind of games.
Yeah, this isn't actually that uncharacteristic for From Software specifically. By all rights, Sekiro could have been a Tenchu game, a series the developer and publisher has worked with in the past.
But upon playing it, it's clear that the game wasn't exactly the same experience.
Yeah, and that's kind of the hook here. Nobody's played it yet. Or maybe Jeff Keighley has, God bless him. But a trailer won't show you what a game feels like to play. So it's possible there is some ineffable aspect of Elden Ring that makes it fundamentally different than your typical Souls game.
That's a really academic way of saying, wait until you play it.
That's right, but we're 6 minutes in, and, if somebody's watching the episode at this point, they're pretty bought in, so it's okay for some intellectual razzle-dazzle.
And on that point, our E3 2021 field correspondent was live on scene in his streaming room earlier today when the Elden Ring trailer aired live.
Yep, and I've got the like weird day drunk hangover headache kind of going now to prove it, but boy, when you're 10 shots deep into an E3 festivity, you start to get some thoughts. So let's throw it to drunk me 4 hours ago, analyzing the Elden Ring trailer as it released.
It is finally time.
Elden Ring! Yes. Oh, okay, it is Bandai Namco. Really? We have a hooded lady whispering at me already? Boy, I don't want this to just be Souls again. I mean, if it is another Souls game, fine. All right. Okay, all right, okay. I'm getting like Metal Gear Solid 5 vibes from the open world.
Extinguish thy flame.
We got dodge rolls and blocks.
They will fight.
We got a charge move.
They will die.
We got a level up lady in a hood.
In an unending curse.
We got horse jumps. Wolfman's. Okay, there's a lot getting implied here. Oh! Co-op spirits. So I'm gonna guess that the horse jump is like you get abilities that help you traverse an open world. I'm gonna guess it's a Souls Metroidvania. Which is pretty rad. And a lot of this monster design is A+. But so far I don't see anything that would make this not Dark Souls 4. Not that it has to be, but whatever.
Unleash the Elden Ring. For all of us.
Rad. Absolutely rad. Ooh. It's even got the iconography. Like, Nightman dying with a sword. He's not slumped against a wall, but why is that not Dark Souls 4? Whatever, it doesn't matter. What gets me about this is that they didn't show any mechanics that would imply that you interact with this. All the mechanics they showed were like Dark Souls style combat. It's like lock on, circle strafe, dodge roll, and stuff like this. There's no like Shadow of the Colossus style mantling, climbing, or Breath of the Wild style. So like this might just be a world set piece. I didn't see the game express anything that implies that you run past this and that's it. Which is okay. But again, I'm looking for gameplay scenarios that are outside of the normal lock on, circle strafe around a monster and beat it until it's dead kind of thing. Which it doesn't need to have, but that's what I was kind of hoping for. So there's a carriage moving through what ostensibly is the open world. This is in the Hyrule Field scenario. So potentially in a Metal Gear Solid 5 kind of way, there will be these like caravans that move through the open world, and if you want to, you can try to raid them to get souls or whatever the currency of Elden Ring is, maybe a high tier loot drop or something like that. And the fact that it has these huge dudes pulling it, it's kind of a visual signifier. If you're looking out over the open world and you see this caravan, this sort of thing is going to stick out visually. So you'll be able to actually like identify it and go for it if you want to. Okay. Oh, I didn't notice that the first time. So the horse actually walks into a gameplay signifier. There are like boost points, which makes sense. If you're on a horse, everyone in Skyrim knows gaining elevation is a pain in the ass. So they have like actual nodes that fire you up in elevation. Makes sense. I would guess that you probably have to do a dungeon or two to unlock the ability to interact with these. So there will probably be other dungeons at the top of mountains or ledges that you can't get to yet. So they throw you into the open world after a tutorial. They teach you how to duck. They teach you how to circle strafe. They teach you how to dodge. And then they throw you into the open world. And even though it seems very open and free, passability gates make it so you can only go to one dungeon. That first dungeon gives you the horse jump or whatever. And then that unlocks more of the world. Kind of in the way that Breath of the Wild threw you into the open world and you had to get the glider first before you could actually go to the rest of the game. Yeah, the combat they showed made it look super Souls-like. There's nothing. So the only thing about the combat that looked interesting is this. Maybe not the only thing. That's a bit strong. But what this is like, this is cool. So it's a hit and then into like a charge move. So that implies to me like combos that can go into different player abilities. So maybe if you're a caster, you bop them with your staff, you hop back, and then you charge up a spell and throw it. Something like that. And that's the thing that can only work if you have the clearance and there's no enemies around. And that could play really well with like open world mechanics. So this shot is like this player engaging with Breath of the Wild terminology. Let's say that they're like jumping a group of moblins here. And they wouldn't be able to do a move like this where they hop back and charge up an attack if there were more enemies around. So maybe that's something where it's like you have to account for the open world, you have to account for the distribution of enemies when you're using your combos and stuff like that. This is interesting though, the shot of the person like camping at a fire. This kind of implies that there's going to be a rest or a camping mechanic because they're in the open world because you can still see the tree. The tree seems to be the giant set piece of the open world and is probably like a North Star for navigating. Because navigation through 3D spaces can be tough for players. So if you give them a giant like spike to be a place where they can coordinate their perspective, it makes a lot of sense to sort of navigate the open world. So if you're in the open world and you're lost, you see this giant tree in the distance, you're like, oh, that's north. So I know I have to go to the right of the tree to get to the next dungeon or something like that. And yeah, Yggdrasil references for sure. It's the world tree and stuff like that. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time the Japanese games just like buffet style sample every world religion to piece their world together. Also, there's a giant moon here. That's neat. A lot of particle effects because it's this gen, and when you're developing a cross-generation game, you can't go too ham on fundamental rendering mechanics. So you just shove in as many particle effects as you can. I do love that transition where it's like, it's an old game, but it's got so many particles in it now. So that's interesting. That little shine there. I assume that's like an item use. Twing. So that's the animation, right? You pull it out of the like trans-dimensional pocket, you hold it up, and then you pop it. So we got an Elden Ring man here using a cube item for something. Summon cube? Yeah, maybe. Oh, that's the summoning item? Yeah, if it goes from here into oh yeah, look at that. It absolutely is the summoning item. So yeah, then you have friendly spirits coming in to help you out. Makes total sense. Although this is a Nightman. In Souls games, fighting another human player in armor, Not like human as in there's a human controlling it, but even in universe, like a humanoid figure that is not completely warped or distorted by soul's energy is usually a pretty big deal. So maybe this is like a mini boss or something that you have to summon some souls to help you out with. Again, same old Souls shit, which is not a knock, because boy do I love Souls games. The lightning coming down is kind of interesting. Got horse leaps. Maybe they're implying that like horse summoning is going to be a boss mechanic, where I guess if they give you more mobility options, they can be a little looser about the scale of the attacks they throw at you. So if you're just a man on your feet, you can't really dodge like a 60-yard wide lightning strike, right? But if you're on a horse, then you can. So I'm going to guess there are bosses where part of their attack phases is you have to summon your horse and use your horse to dodge their attacks for a while. And then they mellow out and you can and then you can do it. I feel like this is like key art. This is key art stuff. Like red hair flowing out of a gold like, and the wings on it kind of strike me. I get Hermes vibes whenever I see something with wings on it. Again, this mishmash of world lores and world cultures. Girl from the teaser, yeah. This is like cover art stuff. She looks very Valkyrie. Yes, she does. And Valkyries they operate in the world of the dead, or that like purgatory between life and death. And that's the exact stripe where a lot of From Software Souls games tend to exist. That like weird middle ghostly ground between being alive and dead.
To be born.
This is a sick move. Well, I guess this implies that she's a boss character or a villain, but it's a grab attack pretty clearly. So we are no longer there's like hollowed, forsaken, and now we are tarnished. A lot of gold accents. It's very like kind of like the Souls series. It's super muted. It's super desaturated, but a lot of gold, which is interesting. To me, gold is opulence. And when you mix gold with decay, it's that Souls shit of like there was a golden era, but it passed. And now we're in the like decay. And the gold still persists, but the decay is here too. Another boss fight. But the boss fights don't seem to be in the open world. They seem to be in contained environments, which again is probably like you'll be in Hyrule Field with the giant Yggdrasil somewhere to be your North Star. And then you find these nodes that transition you into dungeons that have a series of hallways and rooms with treasure, culminating in a boss fight with the collector from Mortal Kombat. Well, no, that's a boss fight with a tree in the background. Never mind. I take it back. Take it back entirely. What's really cool is they're establishing some like principal visuals. The lady with the gold armor and the wings and the red hair, and then the tree. And those two things are probably going to be on the cover art, because those are very powerful images. Also, again, the gold accents and the blue. Solid visual design. And the mutant like Legion hand with tons of people baked into it. Now that I see it again, I'm kind of reading more into this idea that these warriors are combinations of many slain warriors or something like that. Getting more Valkyrie vibes, getting more like death is not the end of your combat kind of thing. I mean, circles, again, this is full into fluff territory here, but circle of life and death into life again. But then you have a line cutting it in half. So life into death, bang, it's been bisected. Now you're stuck or like trapped in this ethereal realm between life and death. And again, going back to the Nordic stuff of when you die, a noble warrior gets scouted by a Valkyrie and resurrected as an Einherjar to fight again. That fits so much in line with where FromSoft has been for a long time, where all their games exist in this fugue state between life and death. And even you as a player kind of exist in this ghostly dimension where you are interacting with other players who have also died. You know, you see their signs on the ground and you see their moments to death. And then you're just kind of, you're in that sort of like, you're not living and you're not dead. You're kind of trapped in the middle. And that's, the middle of the Venn diagram. Or the quad Venn diagram. It makes sense, but it's also so in line with the Souls series that, again, I have to wonder, why wasn't it called Dark Souls 4? And again, maybe it was just Miyazaki insisted that it wasn't a thing. Yeah, PC Digital instead of a Steam code. Interesting. Maybe Epic Games is out there cutting some deals.
Thank you, Drunk Lawrence, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, on that note, on thanking the viewers and stuff, we have a bit of a milestone here to share with everybody. As of last month, thanks to Patreon supporters and continued growth on YouTube, this show is officially profitable.
Hold on a second, Lawrence. Profitable in the sense that you and I are still working on it for free.
That's true. So we can cover like the editors and the writers we're working with, which is awesome. And
That's great, yeah.
To be honest, that's kind of my goal. But yeah, Bruce, who needs money when we have all this bravery sitting around?
As soon as I can pay my bills with bravery, then absolutely, yeah, you're right.
Well, I'll work on that one. In the meantime, I just bring it up because, Bruce and I do it for the love of the games, and I can only presume that's why you're watching too. So I love connecting through that. So thank you very much for watching and supporting however you do, whether you're dropping a like on a YouTube video, recommending it to a friend, if you want to become a Patreon supporter, whatever it is. Thank you very much.
I think it's really cool. I see those comments in our YouTube videos that are like, hey, I watched all the ads. And I'm like, wow, that's really nice of you. That's a big deal.
That is a big deal. Thank you for watching the ads.